Christy Brinkley's cheating husband won't go away. There they are. Good-looking couple. In case you haven't heard, Christy's husband, Peter Cook, who's 47, was having an affair with a 19-year-old whom he hired to work for him. Okay, so now it turns out that after Christy learned about this, it's reported that she hired a computer expert to find emails that he sent to the teenage girlfriend, supposedly. So the question is, would you check your husband or your boyfriends? Would you check their private
Barbara, I'm not even dating. Whoever this guy that's watching, he's going to be nervous to date me.
Yeah. Okay, you will not check his email.
So you're not going to tell him.
She's a snooper. You know what? No, you know what? I check in emails.
Okay.
If I'm married, I would.
No, even if you did, only if you thought he was cheating, or even if just in general, normal day.
You know, women have an intuition. They pretty much know when a guy is cheating.
Really?
I think so.
I don't have intuition.
I don't know.
That's because you don't have it.
Yes, you
Okay, what about you and Tim?
I lost it with my virginity. I used to have it.
What about you and Tim? Would you go through his email?
I don't go through his email.
Do you go through his drawers and look for
No,
things?
because they're way too organized, and it aggravates me to go through them because I can't understand how we can be so organized, so I tend not to look at that.
So you would never go through his emails?
Not unless he said, hey, can you check my email and see if so-and-so got back to me?
Oh, well, that's different.
If you suspect somebody, wait a second, if you suspect someone's cheating on you, you check it out. You're not going to be a fool. Why would you be a fool?
Well, you want to have information to back it up so you won't look like a fool. You're cheating.
Exactly.
You know?
And then you say, here. Yeah.
Bill Getty, our viewmaster, was sitting and saying, I'm so busy, I've got a little eye infection, I don't even have time to go to the eye doctor. How does he have time to have his...
He's an excellent time manager, clearly.
He's got time for the affair.
We'll say that's one of his
Married, he's got a big job, he's 3 or 4 girlfriends. I mean, give him some credit for that.
Handle and manage.
She didn't have a clue.
We give him credit. I mean, he can really juggle this big jerk.
Well, you know, forget intuition. Sometimes you need a friend to tell you.
Yes.
Okay, so this brings us back to that interview I talked about between Gayle King and Oprah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So Gayle was married. The marriage did not work out. But Oprah reveals in the interview that she didn't think that the relationship that Gayle was having with this guy whom she married was going to work out.
Oh.
But
So she had intuition.
she had, well, whatever she felt, but she didn't tell Gayle. Now,
Yeah, I read that. She said she thought maybe Gayle would think she was jealous because the guy was interfering in their friendship and everything.
It's not an
And
easy
so
thing
she
to do.
kept her mouth shut.
What
I mean,
would you do?
I wouldn't tell somebody either. They're in that delusion that day. They're thinking everything's
Well, not
great.
on the wedding day, but what about
Not gonna-
before? I've told someone before.
But if they asked for...
Wait, you were engaged, it didn't work out.
Oh, Barbara.
Okay. Did anybody say to
Just a
you,
reminder.
this is not going to work, this, you know, forget
They
it?
just asked me, was I sure? That's what I love so much about my family, my friends. They ask me, they're like, are you sure?
Yeah. Did they say to you?
Yes.
Okay, well, wait.
I was so excited.
Yeah, did they say to you, are you sure? Or did they say to you, are you sure?
Yeah, that's what kind of drove me a little crazy. I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I think you sit back and you think, and they do ask you, are you sure? And I think you really have to make the decision yourself, and you have to know what you're getting yourself into.
I think a good friend needs to be able to ask that question to her friends. I had a good friend, and I loved her. I loved her fiance. I just, for some reason, I had concerns about their marriage, and I sent her a book. I said, I want you to read this book.
What was the book?
It was actually 2 that I sent her. One was Fit to be Tied, Making Marriage Last a Lifetime, and the second was Inviting God to Your Wedding, a book that I had read. And I just sent it to her. I said, I want you to read these and think about everything.
Fit to be Tied sounds like an S&M book.
No, it is not. It was not that type of book.
So what happened?
She ended up calling me saying that she was postponing her engagement. They broke off the engagement until
Because she read the book?
she read the book.
But based on what? What were you basing your opinion on? What were you observing?
Sometimes you know your friends, right?
Yeah.
You know when they're happy. You know when they're ready for things.
But were they
for the most
fighting?
part.
Did they seem? Was he gay? Did you know something?
No, it was just, you know what it was? It was just a friend's intuition. I just thought, you know what, maybe more time. I just wanted to be sure. I wanted to ask that question, are you sure? And that's how I asked it. I sent this book. She read it. She thought, you know what? We're going to take time off. I'm breaking off this engagement. They went to counseling after for a little while, premarital counseling, and then after that, we're married a year and a half later. And now they're happy as can be. It was just asking that question that I think. It wasn't me, it was her.
Gracie is too little. Your daughter's grown. My daughter's grown. They both had relationships. if you don't like one of the guys that your daughter is going with, do you tell her?
I have.
You tell
You
her.
have.
I stick my 2 cents right in there.
gosh.
Because I see things from a mature point of view, and I can tell if they're not right. She happens to be with someone that's great now. Lucky her and him.
How did you tell her if things weren't? If you
I
didn't think-
observe. Oh, the last one?
Yeah.
I said he's not for you. It's not going to work. Why are you wasting your time? It's like,
And what
well,
she
why don't
said-
you... And then I just say, all right, do what you want. And then it slowly peters out.
I think what Mom said, do what
Mothers
you
are
want.
always right about a situation. That's what I've learned. So now I just listen to them.
My girlfriend is a shrink, right? My friend Taffy. She
love
always
her.
says, just sort of plant something in the unconscious mind and let it work itself out. And sooner the person will then come to it herself.
But you learned the ultimate mom trick. You said, just do what you want. Because as soon as you say that, we want
I'm
to do what you
staying out
tell
of
us.
it. Who am I? What do I know?
Yes. I'm pretty sure we like little daughter zombies. We're like, we're going to do exactly what our mother said. Just do what we want. It works.
I don't.
You don't.
I don't tell Jackie.
You don't. Why? What are you worried about?
Because I think, I'm afraid, I don't know, I just think it's her, I don't know, I have to think about it. But I know I don't. I just
Well,
think
maybe
I
you
have to
should.
see what happens. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have.
Yeah.
Jackie, the next time I'm telling you, okay?
Barbara, she doesn't watch the show. Give it a
No,
breath.
she doesn't watch it. A, she doesn't watch the show. B, she does not ask me what I think of her boyfriend.
Well, they
We'll be
never
right
ask.
back with Gail King.